Alright, if you're like me and you're a big gamer, then you've probably noticed that AAA games kind of just suck ass right now. And that's honestly very surprising given the fact that there used to be a time when AAA games were good. If you think about titles like Skyrim or Far Cry 3, they're made by companies like Bethesda and Ubisoft that nowadays have a terrible fucking reputation. Let's look at Starfield. Starfield was boring. It was the most awful slop I have witnessed in my entire life. I never even finished it, and I played Fallout 4, for God's sake. Fallout 4! And then Ubisoft. I don't even call them Ubisoft now anymore. I call them poopy slop, because that's what they do. Look at fucking Far Cry 6. I played that game, to be honest. I played that game 3 times because I was very depressed. But aside from that, Assassin's Creed Valhalla was also super freaking boring. It baffles me because they made Black Flag and then they had this awesome system with ship combat and all that stuff. And then they wanted to make a game with that, which I think was a great idea until they actually released it. And then it was a terrible idea because the game sucked. So, why is that, right? Well, to understand the problem, we need to look at the title or the name of the industry, AAA. AAA is like a Bond thing. So, I got a little bit confused there, but it's not James Bond, it's money bonds, right? And basically what they're saying is that the AAA stands for an extra guarantee that investors will make money back if they put money into it, right? So this creates a very obvious fucking problem because what that means is that the people in charge are no longer people that want to make games, they're people in charge who want to make money, and that is a very big distinction. Right? So, basically, the people in charge are freaking idiots. And we can see that very clearly. If you take a look at titles such as the new Saints Row, for example. Apparently, the story was intended to be sort of a callback to the more successful games like Saints Row 2 and 3, and was supposed to be kind of like a middle point or something. I've never played those games, but people who are passionate about it have told me such things. Then the people in charge told them to make the story about friendship instead, and they did. And what happened? The game sucked, it crashed and burned, and now the studio got shut down. Same thing happened with Redfall. If you recall, there was a game called Dishonored and Dishonored 2. Very good games. I've kind of played them, but not really. The developers were told to make a multiplayer game. Dishonored and Dishonored 2 were not multiplayer games, they were single-player games, and that's why they were successful. But instead, the team that makes single-player games was told to make a multiplayer game. What happened? The game crashed and burned. Surprise, surprise. And if you look at the articles talking about the development process, they had 2 people in charge that didn't really have a clear idea of how to make the fucking game. So one of them wanted to make it more like Borderlands, and the other one wanted to make it more like Far Cry. What happened? The game turned out to be a nothing burger with vampires in it. Even fucking worse, if you ask me. But, yeah, the studio also shut down. So, we have legendary studios that are being shut down because they're being told to make shit that doesn't fucking work, right? But even when it does work, for example, the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush, a game that won more awards than Starfield because Starfield fucking sucked and didn't win any freaking awards, but Hi-Fi Rush didn't suck and it was a good game and it won many awards. And what happened? The studio got shut down because Microsoft invested too much money into studios. And now they're poor and they're on the streets and they're begging and now they have no more money to give to their poor developers because they're so poor. And they're eating them out of house and home. And yeah, the studio shut down. So that's very cool. I'm sure, the people that are in charge didn't make any fucking money from that whatsoever, right? But here we are. You can't make any fucking thing without the industry ruining itself. And it's gonna get even worse. If you look at Poopy Slop or EA, they want to start using AI in their games. It's not getting good, guys. It's just simply not getting good. Now, The good thing is that AAA industries do not solely control the games market. There are many developers who make games on their own that are actually good. Take for example Lethal Company. I've been playing that game a lot, and it is very, very fun. It doesn't have any fancy graphics, it has a very solid core gameplay loop instead, and that's what makes it good. Let's get out of here. I think we have, it's 4 p.m. Where are you?
I dropped my...
I found an Easter egg in a kettle, which, you know...
Why did they add that to the
like
game?
much.
You can't drive like that.
It may not look like much, but you know, with the right luck, the right gambler's smile.
The worst.
We are lost.
We are definitely lost. I don't know where we are.
Couldn't have driven that far.
This is the worst case scenario.
How did we get lost?
Drive far at all.
How did we get lost
no,
in this one?
I'm so confused. It's this way. It has to be this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh my! Many games are like that, and I want to dedicate this channel sort of talking about good games like that, and I want to highlight that because I feel like they deserve way more attention than any of those fucking AAA games and history games have. But yeah, that's the video. Goodbye, guys.